Good morning. Welcome to day 17 of 365 days of value. Today, I'm grateful for it. So let me show y'all something. Once in a while, I like to sit out here and just kind of look. Some people like to look at water. I like to look at open fields. So I'm grateful that is my backyard. Today, I wanted to talk about, it's actually kind of like a continuation of a conversation that I had with one of my friends yesterday, but just our ability to change. So I recently started reading this book by this rabbi, really dope book, Business Secrets from the Bible, and something that it was talking about, and there was just about how human beings are the only species who have the ability to change, right? So we could be talking about so in the book it says a kangaroo today will be a kangaroo tomorrow. A donkey today will be a donkey tomorrow. A camel today will be a camel tomorrow. But who you are today doesn't necessarily have to be who you are tomorrow, right? And it just got my mind thinking this morning as I was sitting here looking out into the field, reflecting just about how I myself have had the opportunity to change, how I've had the opportunity to grow, and just be able to overcome certain things, but ultimately become a better version of myself. So I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Y'all like a little reflection back there, but become a better version of myself ultimately, and be able to use this to be able to help you overcome whatever it is you are going through, right? So something, and I think a lot of people unfortunately have to deal with this, and maybe it's just because we don't know any better, but I believe we should not define who we are based on certain circumstances and or what we do for a living. We should not utilize that to define who we are, right? So things that have happened to me or things I've done in the past or what I do for a living are not the things that define who I am. So if you ask me, what do I do? Well, I run marketing stuff. I run ads. I do SEO. I have businesses. I'm a friend. But who is Paul? Paul is somebody who enjoys to stare out into the fields. Paul is somebody who loves his family. Paul is somebody who loves his fiance. Paul is somebody who enjoys going on walks, enjoys going to the gym. Paul is somebody who is obsessed with aviation. These are part of who I am. But what I do is, I run ads, I run SEO, I run marketing, and that's what I do. So I think for a lot of people, we tend to use our jobs to be the definitive factor of who we are. And, I think what ultimately that leads to is we can almost lose our identity if something were to happen to our jobs. If, and I'll use this example just because we primarily serve people in healthcare, but if you are in healthcare, physical therapist, occupational therapist, the pre-workout I took this morning for my workout is starting to hit, but if you are in healthcare, a nurse, a doctor, and you stop doing that thing, well, you should not all of a sudden lose your character, your vision of who you are, because that's just something that you do. I think we need to be able to find a way to restructure who we are. So let's go ahead and talk about our past. Let's go ahead and talk about things that have happened to us, things that we've done, and ultimately how we can use that to become better. So one of the things that can happen, and I think we often have to remember that, especially as young professionals, mistakes we've made in the past are not the defining factors of who we are. So everybody has a past. Everybody has something that they may not be proud of. Maybe something that broken relationships, maybe failures, maybe anything really. But these things don't really define. I've had broken relationships. I've had failed relationships, but that never stopped me from being engaged. I've had failed businesses ideas, but that never stopped me from starting the new businesses currently. I've had broken promises, but that doesn't stop me from not trusting people. The point I'm trying to get across is things happen all the time, man. And I think for us to be resilient, for us to be overcomers, for us to be people that can find a way to continue to grow, we have to be able to learn to address, analyze, feel it, and let it go. So addressing certain things in our past, like I'm a proponent for therapy. If you need to go get therapy, please go get therapy, because everybody got problems, but not everybody likes to talk about them. But address what happened in the past. What does that even look like, man? It's like, if something traumatic happened to you and now you find yourself in a position where you almost moving away in an avoidance, right? So this is what I mean by avoidance. You find yourself moving in a way in an avoidance to not want to experience that thing again, but by doing that avoidant activity, it prevents you from living life. Then let's talk about it. You have to address it. Address it and be aware that, the thing that happened, whatever it was, right? The thing that happened was just something that happened, and that's that. That's what I mean by letting it go, right? Just address it, be aware that it happened, feel the feelings, right? Don't ignore whatever happened. Don't ignore the feelings that came with it. Do not ignore the emotion that rose up because of it. Take time to actually address it. Something I personally do is, and I picked this up from the Attributes book that I was talking about by Rich Divini, but there's this thing called the 2-minute rule. So every time I do something that I'm very proud of myself for, me personally, I try to take 2 to 3 minutes to just kind of feel it, the excitement that comes with it. But it also actually goes for when things that are not as great. If I feel sad, if I feel emotional about something that went wrong, I also take 2 to 3 minutes. And once that time period passes, then I'm like, cool. So how can I now move past this? How can I get to the next thing? I personally don't like to get caught up in the ups and downs of life, trying to be consistent, but feel that emotion. And then lastly, let it go. Let that event, let that standalone event go. Release it from whatever your life is and all you're experiencing, and then ultimately just continue to move forward. Because your past is just that. It's your past. It's not who you are now. It's not your present. It's not a defining factor of who you are. Even if some people may have an idea based on that standalone thing, doesn't mean that that idea then is who you have to become. So in the book, it just talks about humans are in fact the only people who have the ability to change. And because we have that opportunity, man, we have an advantage. A lot of people just don't take advantage of it. That's it. A lot of people just, would rather do the same thing every day and let that be the thing. So choice is yours, man. I just wanted to take time to kind of talk about this a little bit, just because I know for me, I'm doing my best to continue to grow as a human and keep showing up here consistently. This is one of my things, by the way, where a part of consistency requires showing up. So that's my piece for you today. If you have any thoughts, comments, concerns, just drop them down in the comments below. Send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to answer. At some point, I do check those once a week, but shoot me a message. Give me your thoughts on it. Otherwise, I hope y'all have a phenomenal rest of today, and make the best of today, man. Just use this opportunity to continue to grow. All right, peace.